I remember them buckling me in the car, and I asked them where I was going, and they said somewhere safe. It wasn't safe at all.
In the case of many government officials, as well as foster care homes all around the world, especially in third world countries, the answer to that question would have been yes. A twisted definition of the word safe now permanently resides in a multitude of foster care systems, growing side by side with the children and the future of our world. The future of our world, where every day an estimated 5,700 children become orphans, and into the current 153 million orphans worldwide today. This documentary will follow a linear timeline, showcasing the dangers of the foster care system throughout a child's growth and development. To begin, a child may enter the foster care system for two reasons. Upon losing both parents, the child under 18 has no caregiver and enters the foster care system for further placement. Child welfare agencies also specialize in removing children from physically and sexually abusive households or a household that is not able to provide the necessary resources. Either way, entering the foster care system is never short of traumatic. The child is taken away from everything they know, taken away from their room, their bed, their toys, every single material thing that they define their identity, being thrown in a trash bag and packed away.
We came home from school, and my sister and I walked in, and there was a woman that our pastor's wife, and then there was a social worker, and my mom wasn't there, and there was just a garbage bag, and we were told to fill it with things as quick as we could. And
in the cases where foster families are not found, children are placed in group homes, which are care facilities that house 6 or more children at a time, toddlers and infants living in a residential setting rather than one in a family. Very little supervision is given to said group homes, giving rise to neglect and poor treatments, all for the opportunity to utilize the government payments attributed to child welfare for personal profits. This case lies in for-profit group homes, which specifically prioritize economical profit over the well-being and health of the children they house. As an example, an investigation into one of the largest group home networks, Mentor, in 2015 found a total of 86 child deaths in the last 10 years, while investigations were addressed to only 13. All deaths were classified as unexpected, yet the problematic behavior of the network proves otherwise. In the state of Texas alone, there were over 100 instances of physical abuse reported in just the last 2 years, including intense neglect when infants suffered a broken clavicle due to being left unattended on a bed. Assumed to be an effort to cut on spendings, Mentor and many other group homes do not hire qualified professionals for caregiving roles, completely forgoing background checks or training. This was the case with Cheryl Small, approved by Mentor, who for the economical benefit of housing a foster child, which is approximately $44 a day, took in Alexandra Hill, a 2-year-old girl whose mom was struggling with a serious illness and was unable to take care of her. Cheryl took the 2-year-old girl and, in a fit of rage, banged her head on the floor multiple times. Alexandria died shortly after. Cheryl indeed had a past in child abuse convictions, left ignored by Mentor, and so it is a struggle to understand how Alexandra's death was unexpected. Despite the findings found on Mentor Network, a decrease in their stock prices for a short period of time was the only consequence, and they still operate and house children to this day. In a survey where foster children were asked what makes a good caregiver, 67% defined it as someone who makes me feel safe and secure. The definition that a caregiver is someone who loves me was only secondary and seldom chosen, and isn't that informative enough? These children defined their idea of love as so far-fetched it was deemed no longer necessary, no longer asking for a gentle touch but instead for a touch that doesn't hurt. Quite unfortunately, the children placed in individual foster families are still not safe from the negative impacts. This is because, no matter the environment or its quality, the average period of stay in foster homes is only 13 months, upon which the children are moved again. This is because foster homes aren't adoptions, and this is why many children struggle to find a permanent place to stay.
By the time I reached 18 years old, I had lived in 35 places. Position throughout my entire experience, I was in over 10 different foster homes, and it was hard for me to open up to people that I was only spending a short amount of time with.
You are concerned with where are you going to sleep tonight? Are you going to be safe? Who are these people? Doing a simple thing like taking a shower in a stranger's home is a very disconcerting experience.
Moving from home to home not only disrupts the child's ability to trust and develop the feeling of security, but it simultaneously damages the academic development. A constant change in schools, as well as the emotional implications of never having stability, hinders the child's ability to learn and receive a stable education, having nothing to call their own. Hence, as one ages out of the system at 18, in many countries receiving virtually no safety net or economical help from the government, less than 3% of foster kids that age out will receive a college degree, contributing to how 20% will become homeless in 2 years. Dreading both staying in the system and getting kicked out of it with nothing to fall back on, nothing to lean against. A childhood spent dreading over numbers, statistics that are all against them, children being 4 times more likely to be sexually abused, 93% of the children experiencing high traumatic exposure, 40% reporting being neglected or physically abused, with 80% of that abuse coming from caregivers. I do not ask you to remember the numbers, but I will ask you again.